Hello students, today we will see the remaining session of the topic functions. So far we were discussing about the basics of functions, the various syntaxes, various categories of functions, built-in, user-defined, and further different categories of user-defined functions, and we have seen some examples also. Now today this class we will see a special type of function that is called as recursive function. So some situation we need to use this special format which is having its own advantages. Rather than using loop, if you are using recursive function, that mechanism will actually provide a little more readability as well as little more impression to the writing of a program. So recursive function is a special category of function. We are discussing about function only, the same function only, but we will be adding some feature into the existing function. So what is a recursive function means? A function that calls itself. A function that calls itself. For example, if you are having a function like sum that is being defined, this is the function definition, and this is the for example, this is the function called as sum. That is the body definition of the function sum. This is not the call, this is the function body, and inside that function I am making a call to the same function. Sometimes I need to repeatedly do the same thing. A function, that is a function sum, calls itself. So within the sum function body I am calling the sum itself. So automatically what is happening is, while calling sum, inside sum again it will be calling sum, again it will be calculating sum, again it will be calling. So that will be repeatedly called, and there should be some situation, we should have some condition so that we can exit from the function. Otherwise it will be ending in an infinite infinite execution, because sum is calling again sum. So if you are not having any exit condition, that will be repeated for ever. That means we need to forcefully terminate the program by using some other mechanism. So normal termination, we need to have some condition given at some moment of time. We need to exit from the program where we are using this sum function. So just remember this sum, this is the definition of sum, and within the definition I am calling sum once again. So far we were discussing about inside the main we are calling a function sum, right? Similarly now within that sum we are calling another function. So this will be repeated, this will be rotated, and that like it is almost like loop only, but some situation it is better to use this function concept itself. It will be easier than what we call a function. Okay, so it is a recursive function means a function that calls itself, and this technique of using recursive function, that generally it is called as recursion. Recursion is the technique name is recursion, and that function that uses recursive format is called as recursive function. So we should have an exit condition, we should exit from the program, otherwise will be always rotate, means they will be rotating within that infinite loop. So that is to be considered. So it will make the program more elegant, and if sometimes that performance is not in a better way, we need to go for the loop itself. Okay, so this is actually added as an advantage of function. So in function we are giving some enhancement. So effectively it will be like the usage of loop itself, but it will give more meaning to the program, because when we call, when we are using a loop, we need to have some difficulty to understand the exact meaning, those who are reading that program. But if you are using some like recursive function, we are using function name, and based on the function name it's we can understand what will be happening within that recursive function. Okay, so this is one of the major feature of function. Generally many languages they are following the recursive function facility. Okay, so Recursive function is a function that calls itself. Within the definition, it calls itself. So we will see some examples. There are some traditional programs where we use the technique called as recursion. One of the major program where we are using this recursion is factorial program. We will see that program first. To find the factorial of a number using recursive function. So there we know that by using loop we have already created the program for finding the factorial of a number. There we know that factorial of a number means what? If 10 is the number, I need to have the what you say, all the numbers to be means 1 into means 2 factorial. That way we need to continue. That means fact of the previous one. That is the factorial of n. N factorial means it is the multiplication of all the other up to 10 up to n, the factorial of all the numbers. So we need to do the same process, factorial to be repeated many times in the case of factorial. Okay, so let us see what we are going to do. First of all, we will see the main program. What we are going to do with the main program. In the main, this is a very simple program only. I am declaring an integer n. Then I am asking for enter the number. Then I will be reading that number, which number to be for which number we need to find out the factorial. Okay, then I am printing printf factorial is equal to fact of n. For example, if I am using n, if I am calling n as 5, so it will be calling fact of 5. So already we know, as per the function concept, this function will go to this function call will go to its corresponding function definition. So there we got the function definition that is written above the main program. So now just look at this function definition. There as you already know, there is a return type int fact, the name of the function, then the corresponding formal parameter. So this n is the actual parameter and this is the formal parameter. Okay, as we are using two different functions, if you use the same variable here, this n will be different from this n. Okay, so that is not an issue with the compiler. This is the local variable n within this program, but this is the local variable for this function. There is no connection between this n that is executing here and this n. Both are different. Okay, just remember that also. Now we will be receiving this n. This n will be received on this particular formal parameter of fact. So I am passing 5. So here n will be 5. Okay, now this is the major body of that factorial function. If n equal to 0, if the passed number is 0, return 1. Okay, so it will simply return 1. Okay, so here it will be printed as 1. Okay, by default, if the n is 0, we are simply returning 1. Otherwise, if it is any other number, else part, what we are doing is return n into factorial of n minus 1. So what is happening here? While calling this fact of 5, it will reach here in the fact of 5. 5 is not equal to 0, so it will go here. Return. So I am writing a single statement here. Otherwise, what we can do is I can assign a variable is equal to n into fact of n minus 1. Then return that variable. That is also okay. Okay. So return n into fact of n minus 1. So what will happen? N is equal to 5. 5 into fact of n minus 1. So what is n here? 5. 5 minus 1, that is 4. 5 into fact of 4. That means 5 into fact of n minus 4. Fact of 4 will be called once again, a recursion. Again it will call the same function. Now this n will be 4. N will be 4. Okay. Now what will happen? So already it is 5 into, then fact of 4, 4, that means 4 into n into fact of again n minus 1. What is n now? 4. 4 minus 1, that is 3. So next step again it will be calling fact 5 into 4 into fact of 3. What is that? Fact of 3 again. What is that? Again n into, that is 3 into fact of 2. Again 5 into 4 into 3 into n into fact of n into means 3 into, what is n here? N is 2. 2 into fact of 1. Okay, so similarly 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into fact of 1, n into, that is 1 into fact of 1 minus 1, that is 0, fact of 0. Now what is fact of 0 already? If it is fact of 0, it will return 1. So what will happen? If n is equal to 0, the function will be returning 1. So this way it will be calculating 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That value will be printed as the factorial of 5. So just repeatedly we are calling the same function. Repeatedly we are calling the function. Okay, so I am calling fact of 1 only, fact of n only. So this value will be taken here and this is taken as the parameter here. Then inside the body again I am calling fact of n minus 1, fact of n minus 1, fact of. So similar situation we can use the concept of, so here we are not using any for loop, right? So we are replacing that for loop with the recursive function. So we are simply repeating the same step, and finally the fact of n will be producing this return n into fact of n minus 1. Okay, so this last case what will happen? Fact of 0. Here it is calling fact of 0. Fact of 0 means it will return 1. It is returning 1 to this location. For this call it is returning 1. So here it will be 1 again into 1, nothing will happen. So this means 5 into 4, 20, 20 into 3, 60, 60 into 2, 120 into 1. So 120, the factorial of 5 will be displayed. And what is being returned? So from this return n into factor of n minus 1, after all this procedure will be getting 120, and 120 will be created here, and that is returned back to the main function, and this will be printing printf factorial is equal to 120 value. So this is the procedure of factorial. So similar situations, some that means if we want to avoid the usage of loops and all, so for some programs we won't be avoiding all the loops. So according to the situation, if you want to do these type of processes in this format, we can utilize the concept called as recursive function. So this is one of the major feature of the function usage. Many situation we are using this recursive function format. Okay, it will again give some readability to the program. We can easily understand what we are actually doing. So it is very clear, the given number into fact of previous number. Again it is calling that, again that number into fact of previous number. Okay, so we are calling the same thing, because every situation repeatedly we need to do the same process, but with a different number. Okay, so that is the procedure that we are doing with the recursive function. So this is one of the major application where we are using recursive function. Most of the situation, most of the universities, they are asking the basic program that is to be discussed as part of recursive function is factorial program. Okay, hope it is clear. You just follow this. Here underlying we are using the different data structures and all. Each time these values will be stored separately and into again call. That temporary value will be stored separately. There we are using some stack concept and all. That we are not discussing all those things now. That you will be seeing in your data structure subject. Okay, so this is the example of a recursive function. Now let us see the result of this program. Just sample result is shown. Enter the number 5, factorial is 120. I already explained how we are getting that 120. Okay, now next program. So now every program is almost similar. I have written some examples. Next program to find NCR and NPR. Already you know that both NCR and NPR we are using factorial. So here also in this example also we are going to repeatedly quote factorial. So NCR formula consists of factorial, NPR formula also consists of factorial. So let us start with the main program. We are declaring n and r. N is for this one, r for this one. Then float CP. Let us see what is that. This is the function call where we are assigning the value. For that we are using two variables, that is C is for this one and P is for NPR. Okay, so enter the numbers. I am entering scanning n and r, these two. Then P is equal to fact of n divided by fact of n minus r. So NPR is calculated by fact of number divided by fact of n minus r. This is the direct formula. So n and r, they are integers. So integer by integer will produce a float. So we are doing a typecasting here. We are adding a float, and P is already float because we need to make these two in a matching format. So P is equal to, if this is the result of two integers, will be producing only integer value. If you want to get the float itself, right hand side, we need to have typecasting. That we have already seen in our previous examples also. Now similarly, C is equal to fact of n divided by fact of r into fact of n minus r. Okay, so that is also being typecast. So we are directly writing that formula. Wherever we require factorial, we are using functions. Fact of n is a function. Fact of n minus r is a function. This fact of n is a function. Fact of r is a function. Fact of n minus r is a function. So if I am using a fact function with any parameter, we can call the fact at any number of time. So in a program, any number of time we can call the same function. That only we are doing here, because in our formula for NCR and NPR, we need to find out the factorial for different number of times. Okay, so what will happen when we are calling this? Just look at the definition here. For each of this call, this function fact of n, it will go here. This fact of n minus r, it will go here. This fact of n, it will go here. Fact of r, it will go here. Fact of n minus r, it will go here. For all these fact call, it will go to the corresponding function definition. Only thing is, here by using for loop also we can find out the factorial. That means we can find out the NCR and NPR. But here we are using a function that consists of a recursive function. Just look at this body. If n is equal to 0, return 1, else return n into fact of n minus 1. We are following the same syntax here, and we are calling the factorial function by using different parameters in this function call. That is according to our requirement. I hope it is clear. Just understand these two formulas, fact, then directly we are calling the fact function, and within the fact function we are having a recursive function call also. Okay, I hope it is clear, very clear, because already you are familiar with the previous example. So I hope it is clear, and you can try it out in your system and you can execute that. Then you can see the difference, the writing, simplicity of writing all these codes without using the loops and all will give more readability, and what you say, the program will become easier for you to write. Okay, now let us see the sample output for the same program. enter the numbers 5 and 3, NCR is equal to, this is the value that we are getting, and NPR is equal to, this is the value that we are getting. Okay, so then we are having another example. Next example, I have taken some examples related to the recursion. Similar programs can be asked in university questions and all. So to find the series 1 by 1 plus 1 by 2 factorial plus 1 by 3 factorial, etc., etc. Okay, up to 1 by n factorial. So here also you can see we are directly implementing this formula, and there we need to replace the factorial portion with our factorial code. Okay, so just listen to the main program first. There you can see the main two variables n and I, then a sum, because we need to sum all those 1 by factorials. So enter the limit. I am entering it as n up to n. So up to 1 by n factorial we need to find out the sum. Then for I equal to 1, I less than equal to n, I plus plus, because we need to repeat the step, because we are going to find out the sum of up to n, 1 by n factorial. Okay, so we are not only finding only for factorial finding we don't require a loop, but for summation we require a loop. For I equal to 1 to n, for I equal to 1 to, so from 1 only, we are not starting here with 0, just remember, because 1 plus, so we are starting with 1, then up to n, so that is why not less than n, it is less than equal to n, then I plus plus. Sum is equal to sum plus 1.0, because 1 by fact of I. So first of all, just see, so this loop will be repeated. As the loop consists of only one statement, we are not using opening braces and closing braces. So I factor 1 by 1 divided by fact of 1 will be called first. Next iteration 1 so that will be some initial value. What you say here we need to declare the initial value. Okay, so that is missing here. Here you have to declare the value of sum as 0, because we are accumulating. So otherwise sometimes this wrong value will be assigned. Okay, so that is missing here. You can add this, sum is equal to 0, then 0 plus 1 divided by factorial of 1. Next iteration, that new sum with that will be added with 1 divided by fact of 2, then similarly up to n. This will be repeated. So each iteration it will be calling fact of 1, the same order will be repeated. If n equal to 0, return 1, otherwise return n into fact of n minus 1. This code remains the same. So the same recursion program itself can be used for similar programs like NCR, NPR, and similar series where we are using factorials. So everywhere we can directly call that function. Wherever we require factorial, just call that function, and that function consists of a recursive function also. I hope it is clear. Now finally this sum will be having the, so we will be getting only one value by adding all those 1 plus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial up to the last number. We will be getting a value. Okay, now we will see the result, sample result of this program. Enter the limit 5, sum is equal to, so this is the sum that we are getting when we are summing if the limit is 5. So 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial plus 1 by 3 factorial plus 1 by 4 factorial plus 1 by 5 factorial will be getting this value. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Now you will see one more program, another example program, that is to find Fibonacci series. So what is Fibonacci series? I will show the result. Fibonacci series is in this format. This is Fibonacci series: 0, 1, then 0 plus 1, 1, then 1 plus 1, 2, then 2 plus 1, 3, then 3 plus 2, 5, then 5 plus 3, 8. If you are having further limit 8 plus 5, then these two will be added. Okay, so the same procedure again here also we are repeating the same thing. For finding each number, what we are doing, previous number and its next previous number will be added. That's all. The same process to be repeated until we reach our last number. So there also the Fibonacci function can also be repeatedly or recursively used. So this is another example where we are using recursive concept. Okay, just look at the program. So first of all, you'll see the main program. What we are doing, n comma I, you'll see what is n and I. Enter the limit. I am entering the limit n. For example, limit is like 10. Okay. So here it is, it is given as 7. 7 means 10 means it will be getting more value. So the limit is 7. Okay, so from that 7 indicates from 1 to 7 we need to do this. So we'll be getting this value. Okay, from 1 to 7 we need to, otherwise we will call it as the first 7 numbers, first 7 Fibonacci series number that we are going to get. Okay, so just look at this. After reading that limit, for I equal to 1, I less than equal to n, we will call Fibonacci of I. So Fibonacci of 1, Fibonacci of 2, Fibonacci of 3, Fibonacci of 4 up to 7. So what is the fourth number? What is the fifth number? Fibonacci. What is the sixth number? What is the seventh number? Okay, so neighbor numbers will be added, and that will be taken as the next number. Then again, for finding next number, the neighbor previous two numbers are being added, and that will be taken as the next number. In that way we are forming the series. So already you are familiar, I think. Now just look at this. So if I am calling fib of 7, so I is limit is 7, so up to 7 it will be doing. So first of all it will be calling fib of 1. First of all it is calling fib of 1. Okay, so look at this body, return type integer, fib, and it is receiving an integer value. If n is equal to 1, it will return 0. Else if n is equal to 2, it will return 1. So first two values, so already it will be like 0, 1. Okay, it will come actually in this way. Else if either 1 or 2, that it will return fib of n minus 2 plus fib of n minus 1. This is very clear what we are actually getting. Fib of n minus 2, so whatever be the number, fib of n minus 2 plus fib of n minus 1. So if we want to get fifth one, we need to find out fib of fourth and fib of 3, that is to be added, n minus 2 plus fib of n minus 1. Okay, so the same thing will be repeated until we reaches the limit. So fib of 1 will be called, it is returning 0. Okay, fib of 2 will be called, it will be returning 1. So this is for this function. So this function will be getting 0 and 1 as the return value. Now it is 3, fib of 3, what will happen? Fib of 3, what will happen? It will return fib of 3 minus 2, that is fib of 1. Fib of 1 is what? Fib of 1 is this one, plus fib of 3 minus 1, that is fib of 3 minus 1, that is fib of 2. These two will be added. Return fib of n minus 2 plus fib of n minus 1. It will be again 1. Now it will become 4. Okay, if it is 4, what will happen? It will call 4. It is not 1, it is not 2, it will go here, fib of 4 minus 2, right? That means fib of 2, this one will be added with fib of 4 minus 1, that is 3, 1 plus 1, that is 2. Okay, next to 5, fib of 5, this iteration, fib of 5, what will happen? It is not 1, it is not 2, fib of 5 minus 2, that is fib of 3, this one, plus fib of 5 minus 1, that is 4, this one, 2 plus 1, that is 3, that will be returned here. Again loop will be repeated up to 7 times. So this is how we are getting the Fibonacci series. Because why we are using recursion here? Because here also we are repeating the same operations for finding all means fourth Fibonacci value, fifth Fibonacci value, we are doing the Fibonacci of previous one and plus the Fibonacci of the next previous one. Okay, so that is why it is written in this particular format. So here also we can reduce the total number of codes being used. Otherwise, if you want to find out Fibonacci, we need to write some more loops and all. So here it will be more clear. It is more readable than when we use all those iterative loops and all. Okay, so I hope it is also clear. A sample output is given. I have given limit 7. So 7 indicates 1 to 7. That means 7 up to 7. So first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth, sixth, 7 up to 7. 7 number of Fibonacci numbers to be generated. Okay, so if it is 8, next one 8 plus 5 will be added. Okay, if it is next 9, this one and next will be added. So this same process will be repeated until this last. So that much number of times it will be doing this finding of Fibonacci series. Okay, clear? Okay, so now we will move to one more program. We'll move to one more program to print the sum of digit of a number, again by using recursive function. Sum of digit, already you know the logic. Sum of digit also we are using loop. In our normal program we are using loop. So here let us see what we are doing. This is the main program. So I will be discussing all the programs starting from main, because that is the main flow. From there we are calling function. While calling function, I will go to the definition part. There we can understand the meaning of the exact working of the function. So n, enter the number n. So I need to find out the sum of digit of 123. For example, I am entering 123. Okay, print the sum is equal to SOD. SOD is just a name given, sum of digit of n. So 123 will be given into the function definition. So this is the function definition. So SOD of 123. If n less than 0, return 0. It is not less than 0, right? Else what it will do? Just check. N mod 10. 123 mod 10. Okay. 123 mod 10 plus SOD. Again I will be calling SOD of 123 by 10. Okay. So 123 mod 10 is 123 mod 10 is 3 plus, right, 10 123 mod 10 division will be getting 120 plus 3. So 3 is the remainder. 3 is 123 mod 10 plus again SOD of 123 by 10 means what? Avoid this 123. I mean SOD of 12. Will be calling SOD of 12. So again it will be calling this one 12. No, it is not less than equal to, it is not less than equal to 0. So it will go here. And again 12 plus 12 mod 10, that is 2 plus SOD of 12 divided by 10, that is SOD of 1. SOD of 1. Okay, again it will call 1 not less than equal to 0. N mod 10, 1 mod 10 plus again what? Nothing is remaining, right? So here 1 mod 10 will be having 1. Okay, so this will be the sum. Now next time we are getting 0, it will be returning what you say, it will be returning 0 to this location. Okay, because last call when it becomes 0, it will give return 0 to this location, not to this location. Then entirely it is returning 3 plus 2 plus 1. That is the sum of digits, right? 123 sum of digit is 6. Okay, by avoiding the loops we are implementing the same program by using recursive function. I hope it is clear. Sum of digit logic is very clear, right? What is the operation? This is the operation we are doing with loop also. We are repeating the same step, but there we are using some for loop or while loop for finding this sum of digits. So loop can be avoided and the program can be more presentable if you are using recursive function. And also for each calling we don't need to repeat the same steps again and again. The step is written only once, and it can be repeatedly called at any number of times according to the program. a function that calls itself. So here SOD function is calling itself for some number of times. Okay, so after getting all these, after reaching all these conditions, what will say? It will return back to the main function. Okay, so while writing this body, this return must be there. It should go back to the place where it is being called. Otherwise, it will be repeatedly calling. So some form of exit condition like return, or it should go back to the place where it is being called. That should be there. Okay, otherwise it will be repeatedly calling, and it will create an infinite loop. Okay, now let us see the output of this one. Enter the number 124, sum is equal to 7. Okay, very clear. Now next program, we'll see one more program, recursive function to find sum of first n natural numbers. Let us see this also. So this is a very important question. Most of the question papers, they are asking recursion with example. So you must know this concept very clearly. This is one of the major feature of using function. Okay, now let us start with the main n. So what is the program? Find the sum of first n natural numbers. Okay, sum of first n natural numbers. Okay, sum of n numbers. So enter the number, that is the limit is given n. Then the sum is equal to sum of n. Okay, so this is the call from the main. It will go to the function definition. So this is the function definition. Return type int sum int n. So if it is 7, so I'll take the same what output is given. The number is 5 here, so I'll take 5 itself. So I'll be having 5 as the n, and 5 is returned, it is assigned to this particular location. If n less than 0, return 0. It is not less than 0, return n plus, that means 5 plus sum of n minus 1. So again it will be calling this once again. Sum of n minus 1 what? Sum of 4. Now next one, what will happen? 5 plus sum of 4. What will happen? 4 not less than equal to 0. Again 4 plus sum of 3. Next step, 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus sum of 2. Okay, similarly up to the last number, up to 1. That will be repeated, and finally it is returning this entire thing. This entire thing will be returned back to the main program. Okay, it is almost similar to that previous, what you say, sum of digit. Also we are following the same pattern. Okay, for Fibonacci also we are following the same pattern, but depends on the logic, there will be some differences. How it is to be done. You should know this logic. What is sum of digit? Means if 5 is the last number, what is it? 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. So in that way you have to find, because 5 plus, okay, 5 number is there. Now find sum of n minus 1. Then 5 plus 4 plus sum of n minus 1. Similarly we need to reach up to 1. Okay, so we are getting 5. If 5 is the up to 5, the total sum will be 50. Okay, so this is another example where we are using recursive function. Okay, so that is all about recursive function. This is one of the major property or usage of function. Many applications, many real-time applications, we are following the concept of recursion. If the recursion seems to be difficult in a program, we need to convert that into the looping concept. We can go for some for loop or while loop for doing the repeated process, but the program will be little more tougher when we are using loops. But if we are using function, we can reduce the number of codes, we can reduce the number of iterations also. So automatically system will be calling, function will be calling by itself, will repeatedly do the same process until it reaches the last point of a particular program. Okay, so that's it for now. next session, in our next session, we will see how to pass array, as a function parameter. So far we are discussing about only normal variables, normal integer values are being passed as the parameter, and we are dealing with only those integer values. Okay, so we will continue in the next session. Thank you.